Live text access, training for real-time intralingual subtitlers.
Unit 5, Re-speaking, Element 3, Dictation Skills. This video lecture explains how to command voice projection, pacing, articulation, and modulation to support dictation, and has been created by SSML and Velotype. On completion of this training sequence, you will be able to use your voice as a tool to produce high-quality subtitles. In particular, you are going to learn about how to use it to support flawless dictation through voice projection, pacing, articulation, and voice modulation. This is the agenda of this presentation. Section 1. Voice projection. Voice projection is strictly related to breathing. It is the use of voice in a way that the person to whom you are talking listens to you. When re-speaking, you need to talk to a machine. In normal talking, we use the upper part of our lungs, while in re-speaking, we need to use belly breathing as automatically as possible, so as to be able and re-speak on the long run. This means that your voice projection should be regular and well balanced, as it is aimed at excellent use of voice commands in a manner that the machine can consistently listen to your voice as you trained it. To do this, you need to keep practicing belly breathing and speaking at the same time. When speaking or re-speaking, try to see if you manage to reduce the number of recognition errors by avoiding ups and downs in the volume. In particular, pay attention to thinking all sentences as if they needed a raising tone, articulating properly, avoiding sudden accelerating your dictation, and avoiding ups and downs in your dictation. But more importantly, avoid talking to the machine the way you talk to humans, as in this demo of mine. I'm not a native speaker of English, so don't focus on the way I pronounce words. Rather, try to imitate the way I project my voice. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, period. This is a demo on how to project one's voice to make the most of automatic speech recognition technology when applied to live subtitling, period. Section 2. Pacing. Pacing is the rate at which each of us speaks. In public speaking, they teach you to vary your speaking speed. Avoid doing this. As we have seen in the previous section, you need to talk to the machine the most robotic way possible. This allows for a good speech recognition. Pacing plays an important role in re-speaking, as it is your capacity to speak clearly at a given speech rate. To understand how quickly you can talk, try and shadow the TV news, a parliamentary speech, or a fast-rate webinar. In re-speaking, pacing has to be constantly adapted to the speaker's rate. Section 3. Articulation. Articulation is strictly related to pacing, as you should not only speak quickly to keep the same pace as the speaker. You should also speak in a clear and distinctive manner, so that the machine can transcribe the words we have in mind and not words that sound similar. To do this, keep an eye on the articulation rules in your language. This is extremely important to reduce recognition errors while re-speaking. To do so, it is sometimes necessary to change the way you pronounce a word through macros or other peculiar ways of articulating words as per element number 4. Always keep track of special articulation so as to make the most out of it. As a rule of thumb, valuable for many languages, remember to always articulate all syllables in a word and all words in a sentence the way they should and not as you do it in your daily life, if this changes the way they are pronounced. With polycentric languages like English, this also means you need to check if the automatic speech recognition software you use can be adjusted to your accent. In this case, be consistent with the standard and do not change the way you articulate, depending on the accent of the speaker. Also, avoid stressing syllables too much, as a machine is not a human being. In case of possibly ambiguous words, pronounce the word without stressing a given syllable too much, as in many languages, vowel length can make the difference between two words, as in shot and short. Section 4. Voice modulation. Finally, voice modulation is the use you make of your voice in terms of volume and tone. In human conversation, you adapt it to the message or effect you want to convey. In re-speaking, this means to be consistent with the three aspects we have dealt with in the previous sections and keep modulation as robotic as possible. This may seem easy, but it can be a challenge with emotional speakers, as you may tend to imitate them. If you realize the number of recognition errors increases, a wrong voice modulation may be the reason. Summary. In this video lecture, we have seen how important it is to make a good use of your voice while breathing, so as to support dictation. In particular, we have seen how to command voice projection, pacing, articulation, and voice modulation to avoid as many recognition errors while trying to subtitle challenging speakers. Exercises. The exercises for this video lecture are in the trainer's guide and the PowerPoint file.
LTA, Live Text Access. Universitat Autónoma de Barcelona. SDI, Internationale Hochschule. Scuola Superiore per Mediatori Linguistici. ZDF Digitaal. European Federation of Hard of Hearing People FHO. Velotype. Subti Access. European Certification and Qualification Association ECQA. Co-funded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union. Erasmus Plus project 2018-1-DE01-KA203-004218. The information and views set on this presentation are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official opinion of the European Union. Neither the European Union institutions and bodies, nor any person acting on their behalf, may be held responsible for the use which may be made of the information contained here.